What do you think is the record for the most consecutive strikes thrown on television in PBA history? You might think the obvious answer is 12 strikes, as that's how many will get you a perfect game. But don't forget that players can play multiple games during a telecast, so they might get all 12 strikes in their first match and then continue the streak in their next match. So your next guess might be 24, assuming that a bowler has gone back-to-back 300 games. But it's not quite that many. In actual fact, the answer is 18. And there are two bowlers that are tied for this record. Both of these bowlers managed to string 18 strikes in a row, which is a very impressive feat to accomplish under the pressure of the TV lights. So in this video, we're going to look at both of these occasions and dive into the telecast itself and see whether both of these players managed to actually win the title on these occasions. Let's start with Pete Webber, who first set the record of 18 back in 2001 at the Greater Louisville Open. At this point in Webber's career, he was going through a revival, having had issues that had resulted in suspensions from the PBA Tour. But the PBA itself was going through a time of change after it was bought out in the year 2000 by three former Microsoft executives. They quickly realised that Webber could be key in their attempts to bring back the tour to its former glory, and he started to become the new poster child of the PBA. He won one title in 2000, and his resurgence really began in 2001 when he won the Great Lakes Classic, and then headed into this event, hoping to win multiple titles in a season for the first time since 1997. He had won the 2001 Great Lakes Classic, where he also shot a 299 game in the semi-final against Steve Wilson. Webber entered this telecast as part of the wildcard match, where he faced Brian Himmler, and Pete would win this match 204 to 188. Next up in the semi-finals, he would play Norm Duke, and halfway through this match is where Webber really started to heat up. Frame 5 would be the start of his 18 strike streak, and by striking out from the 5th, he would finish with a 260 against Norm's 227. Now to the title match, where Webber would face Michael Haugen Jr., who was seeking his first title. Webber's strike streak was at 8 heading into this match, and he would simply just keep on striking and had the front 9. But Haugen Jr. was putting in a valiant effort himself and was on pace for a 279, and he got all 3 strikes in the 10th to make a 279, and this really put the pressure right back on Pete, and it meant he needed a strike in the 10th to win.
Now wait a minute, Pete, don't get too pumped up. I think he lost his sunglasses. He just ripped them off his head, don't get too pumped now.
This strike extended his streak to 18, but most importantly, it won him the title. This match was absolutely unbelievable and one of the greatest PBA title matches of all time. It's not every day you bowl a 279 and lose, but Haugen was absolutely fantastic in this one, and there wasn't much else he could do. Webber himself was just on fire in both the semi-final and the final, and it was one of his greatest ever performances. Unfortunately, he wouldn't get a 300 game on TV as he went high on the next shot, leaving a 4-pin. Now let's take a look at Ryan Shafer, who also holds the record with 18 strikes. He equalled this record 6 years later in 2007 at the Pepsi Championship. He was the 3 seed and would play Tony Reyes, who had defeated Mike Devaney in the opening match. It was a close one, and Ryan Shafer would strike in the 9th and 10th frames to force Reyes to double, but a 10-pin from him meant that Shafer would advance, and the 9th frame is where his streak started. In match 3, he met 2 seed Jeff Carter. Both players started well. Carter had the first 3 before leaving the 4-7-9, but did double after this. But Shafer was now lined up and continued to strike again and again. Carter was still on pace for a 263 game, so he would need Shafer to give him an opening, but Shafer would strike in the 8th and 9th frames to pretty much end this match, and it was officially over after Carter left the 3-4-7-10. Now Shafer had one more thing on his mind for this match, and that was a perfect 300 game. 10th shot was pretty much perfect, and for the 11th, the rolling messenger gave him the strike he needed to set up the chance for a 300 game, and he managed to do it. and it marked the 18th televised 300 game in PBA history.
For a 300. Come on, get it! That's what I'm talking about! The 10-pin goes down! He's one more for a perfect game! Come on! Yeah! Oh boy! He did it! 300 Ryan Shafer! Unbelievable!
Hey, we're gonna be on the SD class. Great job!
Way to go, kid! He'll hug PBA legend Colin Salvino, our commissioner Fred Schreier as well.
But now Shafer had to compose himself and move on to the title match to face Norm Duke. Shafer's strike streak was now at 16, and a trip 4 made it 17, and then an opening double brought him to 18. But this incredible run would end in the third as he put it slightly wider and he hit light, leaving a 2-pin. Unfortunately, at this point, Shafer completely lost his shot, leaving a number of single pins, and then had an open frame after going through the nose. To make this worse, Norm was lined up, and after he left a pocket 710 in frame 1, he threw 6 in a row before leaving a 7-pin. As Shafer went into the 8th, he was down by 48. He did double, but after Norm marked in the 9th and kept the ball on the lane in the 10th, he would shut Shafer out. This was an incredible showing from Shafer, and it was just unfortunate that he ran out of steam at the wrong time. His shot definitely went, and he just couldn't adjust quickly enough in that final game to keep up with Norm in this match. Now, both of these streaks from Shafer and Webber were incredible to watch, and it's hard to say which was better. On the one hand, Shafer had a 300 game, but he would lose the title. For Webber, while he missed out on a 300, he did win the title and managed to keep his streak going during immense pressure from Haugen Jr., who bowled that 279 game, which meant Pete had to strike in the 10th. I think for this reason, if I had to choose, I might say that Webber's had the slight edge, but as I said, both of these performances were sublime, and it's very hard to pick between the two. And that will bring us to an end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I always like to look back on these scoring records, and there's quite a lot of old TV records that I think are quite fun to take a look at again. So if you have any ideas for some similar videos to this one, then please do let me know in the comment section below. And if you have enjoyed this video and you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button below. That's going to do it from me for today, and as always, thank you bowling fans, and see you all next time.